y'all, let me tell y'all something, honey. We had to come back for the after hours, okay? Because we did not have enough time on the first segment, but on this second segment right here, baby, listen, get ready. I got to bring in my boy, Chris Bond. Honey, he said I need to join and I need to have the conversation. So, what just happened?
This lady that you had on, she brings the victory in us. And now I know why. Because she is setting some people free. Now, this is one of those podcasts that you could be a sleeper. But that's why we had to do this extended version, because this is some real life stuff that your audience, Sharia, needs to really dig their heels into. They really need to pull in and understand that's why I'm acting like that. That's why I trip out when I feel or somebody say something. That's one of my triggers. It's right here in ACEs. Now, for those that don't know what ACEs is, you about to find out. And we about to bring on this amazing woman who's going to give you some really, really hard-hitting information. Sharia has grown up with this young lady. They lived in the same area or neighborhood, went to the same schools there in Kansas City. She is the first to graduate from high school in her family. High school. And then she went on to do some other amazing things, has a doctorate, joined the amazing sorority of Deltas. Come on, what a red and white at? Where y'all at? Y'all make some noise right there. And let me just let her tell her story. Sharia, let's bring her on right now. Y'all make some noise, man, for Miss Dr. Tori McDonald.
Come on, Tori.
Williams in the building.
Come on.
I'm back, y'all. I'm back.
Yes.
All right, so I wanted to bring you back because I wanted it to be real. I wanted to get with some real stuff. Now, Sharia, you can ask your questions, but I'm gonna ask my questions too, Sharia. So there you go.
Well, because he's so excited, y'all, I'm going to let Chris go ahead and go first. I'm going to let the elderlies go first, because that's what we do out of respect. So go ahead, Chris, because this is getting good. Go ahead.
All right, let's do a real quick recap. Real quick, Dr. T, tell them who you are and give them just a little bit of the background, and then I'm going to get into why we brought this back as an extended play.
Perfect. Dr. Tori McDonald-Williams, born and raised in Kansas City, Missouri. I represent it. Raised in Chicago, surprisingly. I've been in Chicago over 27 years. And I went on a journey. The Lord placed me on a journey to find out exactly about adverse childhood experiences. And that's what I did. I found out exactly about it. And I could share it and do whatever I need to do to break it down for people to understand. So I am what have been coined as the ACEs educator, and I educate people worldwide on ACEs, what to do, how to do, when to do, all of that. That's really what I do.
Here is her website, guys. I need y'all to go check it out. It's at bevictorious.com, and that's spelled BEVICTORIE, which that's her name, Tori, US. And that is so unique the way that came out. And you already know that it is a God assignment because her name is in it. I don't know if you saw that, Sharia, but when your name is in it, you're supposed to be a part of this big movement. And I say this is a movement because these are the things that change lives. When you can dig and find out, your generation and your lineage. And we talk about generational curses and we talk about generational things, but we don't really take it that serious. Because as a community, Black folks has always been discouraged that we don't need no help. We don't need nobody to sit in no chair. We ain't wacky. We ain't quacks. We ain't crazy.
Yeah.
And if you understand how mental health is now on a serious incline and rise, it's not just something trending now. You know, this is something that has always been around us and among us, but we kind of, let's pray about it.
Yeah, that's it.
Let's cover it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's, what?
When does that mean? Did you do that to your That's your mother, though, or oh, that's your father, or that's your uncle.
And the thing, the thing that got me on the last show was that you busted Sharia out when she gave you that, when she clutched her pearls, you was like, stop the BS. Let's just be real. Let's have the conversation. Let's have the real conversations. So we're bringing you back for this extended version because we want to talk about the conversations, right? Let's start with you. Tori, give us the trauma that you found that said, you know what, I need to help other people. What was your story to make people?
I don't have no other choice but to be honest. When me and Sharia talked, I talked about my divorce. I will share just from the beginning, and I'm going to be 100. From the beginning, I had the child first. So shout out to my 18-year-old daughter, class of 2025, who is graduating. She was my purpose. She was my inspiration. She made me want to be a better person. But that didn't mean I had to go out and get married. But when you have church in your background, you got those people telling you it's the right thing to do. And this is it. Don't you think that would be great? I went for it. Because again,
right.
I talked about my grandfather who's a pastor. Yeah. Let's make it right, Tori. Let's go ahead and get married. Let's do this. And I was like, okay, I'll try him out. But for him, it wasn't that. He saw opportunity. And that's what happened. You know what I mean? We had a baby and it's like, okay, let's get married. Are you sure? So that was always my response. Even when I was married, people would ask me, so how are you and your husband? We're okay. It wasn't. That's not a reason to get married. You don't get married because you have a kid. You don't get married because your parents divorce. And I actually got married like, oh, I'm going to do right by and do the opposite of what my parents didn't do. And I'm going to stay. And then you get married and it's like, for better or for worse, to death do you part, in sickness and in health.
Yeah.
Well, understanding ACEs helped me understand. Let's be clear. I saw red flags from the beginning. I had red flags. And so did he. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to sit here and point the finger and be like, oh, he didn't do this. It was things that I did not do too, because I was trying to correct the mistakes that happened in my childhood. So divorce, when I was in high school, hey, it took a toll on me. It took a real toll on me. I started doing things to try to get my parents' attention, but they worked so much, they didn't pay attention to the things that I was doing. So it was like, okay, no shade, to my parents. I love them. They're great. But my parents were not together at all. They were just trying to stay together because it looked good. In the middle of my parents trying to stay together, I had a sister. So that was kind of kept under the rug because my parents were married. Instead of being out there, it was swept under the rug. And so for me, I was like, I don't think that's fair. I know it was one thing that Sharia said, like, I thought you were a dad's girl. Yeah, because I felt like my dad told me. So my dad was the one that told me about my sister. He didn't hide it because I asked. Now, when it was time to ask my mom things, it was stay in a child's place or mind your business or why you asking? But understanding ACEs helped me understand why she was saying those things, because she too had unresolved childhood trauma. I think I brought up on the episode how her mother abandoned her. Well, if you think about child abandonment and you think about adverse childhood experiences, that had an impact on her. So think about it. That child abandonment is real. It happens. How many other parents out there that are not really parents or leave their kids with grandma or uncle, or people are raised with other people besides their parents? And so that's what's happening in our community. There's a lot of kids that get bused and go over grandma's house because grandma's house is the right place to go.
Yeah.
Auntie's house. This is our society, you all. This is what's happening. So for me, that's what it was. My dad came clean. My mom didn't. And so because she didn't come clean, I know why she didn't come clean. She also had some things she was doing too. But he had something to show for it, and my mom didn't, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So her having another kid would have been a big deal. You know what I mean? But my dad, on the other hand, it was just swept. It was sheltered. It was kept quiet. It was don't say anything. But as my sister got older, it became more than that. I had people coming to me like, yeah, what's up, cousin? You my cousin now. Well, we grew up in Crip and Blood generation. You don't come up to somebody talking about what's up, blood, and what's up, cuz. You don't do that. So I started fighting. Like, what you mean? I'm a product of the Boys and Girls Club on 43rd Street in Cleveland. Right. That wasn't the right territory for you to be saying what up, blood, because that was Crip territory. So I'm gonna bang my way to the Boys and Girls Club and I'm gonna fight. But my parents don't see the fighting as me trying to get attention or, me. I found out afterwards the ones that was calling me cousins because by right, we cousins.
We're real cousins. We're real family.
Cousins. So I had questions. So why y'all didn't say nothing? Why didn't y'all just open your mouths? You got to stay in grown folks' business. We still doing that in 2025. People still hiding stuff in 2025.
Still doing it.
Yeah, that's the story. Like, that's the story. It happens. If people are not aware, 1 in 3 have an ACEs score. I think everybody has ACEs.
Everybody got ACEs.
Okay. Yeah. The problem is people don't even want to address that score. It's like, oh, I have it. Oh, well. But when you find out about it, do something about it. Identify, figure out what it is you need to heal. Because for me going through this research, me going through what I needed to do, it woke me up and made me realize I've been sitting up here in this marriage all of this time. I didn't have to marry him because we had a kid.
Right.
I was trying to make right of what my parents didn't do.
Right.
I'm just trying to prove to him. So I have to, I'm taking accountability. Accountability, coined, key term, accountability. Yeah. I'll say that 100 because I'm telling you, he would have been A-okay doing exactly what he was doing if I didn't step up to the plate and say, yep, I'm going to make a better change for myself. I'm out. And it wasn't a bad thing. Shout out to him. Hey, he just is not for me. Trust. And just because I had kids with you don't mean I had to marry you. But when you have unresolved, it's called unresolved childhood trauma. When you have it, it will have an impact. And until you do right by yourself, that's why people go into self-care. Like you and your Slay boutique. You make them feel good by introducing them to fabrics and clothing and things that make them feel good. That feel good moment is a positive experience that people need.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, people can heal. People can definitely heal. That's why there's Reiki. That's why there's meditation. That's why it's yoga. They're putting emphasis on that now because, like how you said, that medical bill.
Yeah.
Skyrocketed. Everybody's talking about public health right now. Everybody's
crazy.
But are we doing something about it?
Yeah.
I want to revisit the definition real quick for those that probably just dropping in and you're catching this passion that Dr. Tori is giving you right now. She's all in your face, baby. ACEs is adverse childhood experiences. Now, I want you to take some time and think about that. I want you to really think about those times where you experienced an adverse experience. It could be a situation like, hey, you know what? My uncle touched me right here, and I never said anything about it. There was that time my dad said to my brother that he was his favorite and not mine, and we all kind of laughed it off, but it really did bother me. It's those adverse situations that kind of did something in you on your inward, and you kind of maybe just pushed it down And it could have been, or it can be attached to reasons why, hey, I didn't study or apply myself in school like I could have because I was trying to get attention, or I was trying to make up for something that an adverse situation. I was always compared to my big brother or my sister, or my hair wasn't long enough, or I wasn't cute. It's all those things. 1 in 4 adults in the United States have experienced at least 4 or more ACEs, 4 or more adverse childhood experiences. This is what's written on the paper. And it is also the root cause for many harmful and persistent, expensive health challenges that we face today. You're not eating because you're hungry. You're not just wanting the candy bar or the sweets or the sugars or the sweet Coke because you're hungry. You're trying to soothe something.
Yep.
Yeah.
You've been triggered.
Yep. Very true. Triggered is the key word. I'll give you another example. I remember talking to my daughter. This was younger. This was me learning about ACEs and going through my healing journey. And she was like, Mommy, I remember I had on this pretty red dress and I did something wrong and you picked me up by my arm and you whooped my butt. And I was like, you remember that? And she was like, yeah, my dress was red and it was cute. But she remembered because I whooped her butt. And ever since, I will share with you guys, because you got to think about it. Why did I whoop her?
Yeah.
I really didn't need to, but we grew up with whoopings. It was the problem. It was the answer to everything. You didn't wash the dishes? Let me whoop you. Or you didn't do this? Let me whoop you. So it was me doing it because that's
what was done to us. Yeah.
But when she brought it up to me, I am telling you and your listeners right now, this is me. I will tell you, my daughter is out of 700 students, she's number 16. I quit whooping her a long time ago. I don't whoop them anymore because what effect does it really have? So I've been on debates. I've had this conversation and I will defend it because I think awareness is key. I think if people understand that unresolved childhood trauma that they have has an impact and it's brought up, then you'll stop too. Because guess what? All of my kids, let's be clear, on a roll. I don't have to make it up. That same child I just talked about.
Yeah.
On a roll. Now think about it. What about the whoopings? What if we would have kept doing that? You know what I mean? Would that have helped her or hurt?
Well, because everything is a generation thing that we constantly do. But like you said, when you stop whooping, you went more into the role of let's communicate.
Parenting.
Let's talk about it. And let me tell you why I am upset. And when we talk about it, that's the game changer right there, all the way across the border. Intellectual wise, being able to communicate with others, because a lot of times we don't know how to communicate with one another. And when we don't know how to communicate, we shut down, which is another ACE. You know what I mean? So everything ties in. Yeah.
Well, there is this test that you can take that's on the website at bevictorious.com. Again, that website is BEVICTORIE. That's Tori's name right there. Do y'all see that? Isn't that wonderful? bevictoriousus.com. There's a test that you can take. Adverse childhood experiences test, and it has 11 questions. I encourage you to take that test, and what you'll do is you're going to find a whole lot of information about yourself. But here's the thing. There used to be a TV show called G.I. Joe, and they used to say at the end of their show, and knowing is half the battle.
And that's the reason why it's a conference. Because again, if people are coming internationally to know half the battle, everybody should be at this conference. So like, For me, it's making sure that people understand that you have a safe space to have the conversation.
Yeah.
And again, these people are traveling so they can have the conversation because it's not anywhere. And my whole goal is to make sure this conversation is held and we provide the safe spaces for people to have it. So I'll give you an example. I start off the conference, it's me and a therapist. We actually did research. I did research on men. But there was a conference last year, Manifest Conference. We did research. So to even register for the conference, you had to do the quiz. And we're going to report all of this. It was a conference for males. I'm not going to say African-American males. It was steered toward African-American males. And I'm about to present all this information at this conference to bring awareness to the need of males having a discussion and a conversation about ACEs. Absolutely. Because we introduced it last year at this conference. And when I tell you, it was good. I'll be there again next year.
This is your third year doing this conference?
This is my first year doing it.
Oh, this is your first year. This is your first year. Okay.
I've had this podcast for 3 years. So
that's where I got it mixed up.
Yeah, the podcast has been used as an educational tool. It is people from all over the world that have jumped on this podcast to have this conversation or to share their story so people can understand.
Wow.
So I will give you an example. I'll give you another example. There's a young man, I want to say he's episode 40 or 41. He's from Kansas City. He thought that ACEs was something different. But his episode, I actually educate him on ACEs. And he said it. He said it on his podcast. He said, so me growing up in jail had an impact on my son. And I know why. That's why he wanted to be a drug dealer. I said, yeah. Because you were a drug dealer growing up. And then you went to jail and didn't raise your son. Everybody else raised him. And so he's going to grow up thinking he's either going to know that doing drugs is going to put you in jail like your daddy, or you're going to make a change. And we had a whole conversation on this podcast about that. And what I love is he is out. He is doing his thing. He met his son. He's bonding with his son. He's making the difference differently because he don't want his son to go to jail. So he's like, listen, I did this for you already. You don't be no drug dealer. This is what needs to happen. And so he came back into his son's life and he's doing what he needs to do for his son. So his son can know, yeah, daddy going to jail as a drug dealer, that ain't cool at all. For what? He stayed in jail all this time.
Dr. Tori, this is so key. And it is so meaningful for a quality of life. To be able to, like you said, I know exactly where you're going with, hey, I don't discipline my children like that anymore. And look at how fruitful she has been because you decided to be a parent and not just say, don't do it because I said don't do it.
Right. Right.
And if people had that kind of consistency, and if we had that kind of safe place, or even the time, some of us,
everybody's not ready for the conversation, though, and
they're not ready for the intellectual, what's the word? Intelligence.
Yep.
The emotional intelligence that comes with that space.
Yep.
Because you got to sit down and you got to figure out, where did I go wrong and what am I afraid to face and look straight in the eye and say, I had an issue with that.
Yeah. And that's it. Like I said, I had to give a shout out to, my child's father, because let's be clear. I know from the beginning. I'm not going to sit up here and sugarcoat it. How many other people, when they have a kid, just up and get married? Oh, okay. I'll wait. Because it happens. We can't say it don't happen when it happens. I can name 5 people.
It happens all the time.
But why? Because we wanted to make right of the situation? Or we didn't want to look bad?
We didn't want to look bad.
That part right there.
I loved to hear my dad say, you know what? I feel like I'm responsible. You are. Because at that time, I had unresolved childhood trauma.
Yeah.
And you told me to get married. gave your blessing, said it was the right thing to do. Don't be like me. Make sure you do this and da 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 and da da da. And I knew in the back of my head, I always, even when we were married for 13 years, and people would be like, "Well, Tori, did you know that he was the one?" I'm like, "Am I the one?" You know what I mean? I never have answered the question, because when you think about it, I knew I wasn't the one.
Yeah.
I tried my best to make it work. I only did it to make it look good. Y'all like social media? Yeah. I really don't. So let me post a picture of me and him at this place.
Right.
We wasn't doing that. We wasn't at all. So for the people that knew us, they knew it wasn't that at all. It wasn't. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. What you all saw was, well, you got so many kids. What you don't realize is all of those kids are because I'm allergic to birth control. And I'm gonna go ahead and keep it real for your listeners. I have a brain tumor right now.
Wow.
Passion and purpose. That's what we're doing. Slay all day. This is me.
Wow.
Because that stress, ACEs, impact on the brain.
Yeah.
But also, they gave us birth control in the 90s. Don't get pregnant. Blah, blah, blah. I had been on birth control forever. So when I found out I was pregnant, I'm like, did the birth control backlash? And that's really what happened. There's a lawsuit right now, a Depo-Provera lawsuit for people with brain tumors.
Wow.
Really?
Y'all can look all this stuff up. I'm a researcher. People ask me every day, you think it's because of the birth control? It could be, especially I love my kids. I didn't have a kid until I was 30 years old. My friends, remember, I was the first person to graduate from high school. A lot of us didn't go to college. I'm the first person from my family with a doctorate degree. That's not a brag, honestly, when you think about it. But then again, the world knows Dr. Williams. They love Dr. Williams. The people in my community, like, she thinks she all that. It's not about being all of that. It's about really understanding your story. It's about understanding your passion. It's about understanding your purpose. This is my passion. This is my purpose. I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to do. Again, oh, you got a divorce. Y'all don't understand. I should have never really gotten married. I want accountability. You say that. I want accountability. I should have never married in the first place. Just because we had a kid ain't no reason to get married. And then we get married for what?
Right.
Then I started doing the right thing. Well, I want a boy. That ain't why you have kids, but okay, sure.
Yeah.
All that whole time I was on birth control. But when I put the second one in my arm, it backlashed. I had to take it out my arm because I got sick. And when I got sick, I ended up getting pregnant. Oh, y'all love each other. No, I really no. And I'm just being honest with you. It was well in a church household, you're supposed to stay together for better, for worse, through sickness and health. Then you throw that in my face, and I'm a Christian, a preacher's grandchild. I guess I'm gonna stay. Let me go ahead and stay. So now, what did I do for him? I let him know that whatever he do, I'm gonna stay.
Wow.
Which gave him the okay to do whatever it is that he wanted to do, because you had already given the blessing. My gosh.
Because this the dark conversation. I'm ready. This is it.
Because it's tied to ACEs. It's tied to this is what this is supposed to. We don't want to look bad. We don't want to be embarrassed. It's let's clean it up. You made a mistake. So how do we clean up mistakes?
You have to share. You have to learn how to heal. You have to accept. You got to understand those red flags. You got to understand all of that, all the stuff.
And we see it.
Well, the thing is, if you all didn't know, and I'll share that with you, if you go to cdc.gov, social media is not good for us at all. We worship stuff like Love and Hip Hop. They got Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, Miami, ATL, St. Louis, Kansas City, Detroit, ABCDFG. And that's what our society is accepting. When the reality of the situation is, so he was married and you thought it was okay to be with him. He's married. Why did you go? Why did you do? That's common. But we do it. But I'm saying we do it. And the reality of the situation is, it could be a reason why they accept it. because they was raised watching it, or their dad was married and was with somebody else.
Yeah.
We have to address ACEs, y'all. We have to address ACEs for sure.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you can put it together. I'm telling you, you could make somebody feel real good, especially those people that are out there with anxiety and depression. Show them a nice outfit. It ain't about spending. It's about making them feel good, make them get that encouragement, that support that they never received. That dress makes them feel good. Well, I don't want to spend the money. That's all right. Let me give you a four-day plan, or, however, you know what I mean? Because that's what's going to make that person feel better. That's what's going to make that person heal. That's what people do. You have personal shoppers. When you go shop for somebody and you give them that dress and you give them something nice, and they be like, oh, thank you. You make me feel beautiful. That's how people want to feel. They don't want to feel abused. They don't want to feel neglected. They want to feel better. And that's the reason why we have to heal. Healing is not something that is linear. It is not something that you say, ta-da, I'm healed.
Yeah.
It is a journey. So this movement that I'm on, it's a movement. I'm going to talk about it. It's a part of my conversation, and people migrate because it's like, so tell me some more. Exactly what y'all did is exactly what happens every time. That's why Sharia, you're so busy, because I get speaking engagements, I do workshops, I do classes, I'm in colleges. Remember, I'm a professor too, and my professorship is about adverse childhood. I am a specialist on adverse childhood experiences. Yeah. I'm in universities and everything. Yep, this is what I do for real.
That's awesome stuff. Mm-hmm. Be Victorious Foundation. The mission is to provide mentorship to young people, especially those with adverse childhood experiences. And it's a research and an educational resource. The vision of Be Victorious is to help young people overcome the challenges they face due to ACEs and achieve their full potential. Because if you don't know why you hit a ceiling because somebody said something or something triggers you, you are really limiting your potential, and you can be so further ahead in life. Yeah. But because the enemy has a stronghold, that's what we call strongholds in the church. That's a stronghold. It's a strong man, a man that's holding you down. And so those are yokes and chains that can be broken once you have an intelligent, emotional connection. Like, you can really see it.
Yeah.
And I believe it. I see it in people.
And then you can, you can call that thing out. You can call it out.
I have to, because nobody else is. And so when I do it, it's like, I'm gonna give y'all one more example and that's it. I promise.
We got you.
My daughter kept asking me to go on her senior trip. And I was like, in my head, my mother always worked, my dad always worked. I ain't got to go to everything. But she kept asking me. And it wasn't until the teacher called. When the teacher called and said, hi, Dr. Williams, the teacher.
Yeah.
Hi, Dr. Williams, I noticed that you hadn't paid on your bill to go to New York. You a teacher. You ain't supposed to be calling me about that.
Right.
We in Texas, remember I told you. The passive aggressiveness, I heard it in her voice.
Right.
And so I waited. She did that in December. We didn't have to pay until March. So I sarcastically waited until March. Okay. A few of the students was mad because they were like, oh man, if you would have told me that you was going, I would have went. And a few parents, like, if I would have known you was going, I would have let you go. But a lot of kids didn't go because they didn't want their parents. There's students with those teachers. So I get to New York and I noticed all the kids wanted to be with Dr. T. And of course, they were with it because it wasn't a trip for the kids. It was a trip for the teachers. So they was out in Times Square kicking it. Not me. Let me figure out what's going on. I didn't pay attention.
Yeah.
So you're mad at this young man for being late to his room, and he was with me. I thought I was a chaperone. Yeah, but no. I could be a chaperone during the day while y'all sit around New York Times Square and play. But at 11 o'clock at night, well, they know that they have a curfew. But if he's with a chaperone, what difference do it make?
Right.
So I did a plan B because I noticed on their itinerary, they did not have Harlem. We were Black kids.
Yes.
New York. How come y'all don't have Harlem on the itinerary?
Yes.
I thought about it. I talked to my daughter. So I don't hide anything from them. I don't tell them everything. I tell them enough to understand. They are aware of ACEs. They have an ACEs score. They advocate for ACEs. So I think that's how I become popular with them, because they share. And so I told my daughter, I said, we're not going to Radio City. We don't need to see Barry Manilow. I need you to see Showtime. We're going to Harlem. So I get in a community group and I tell staff, I'm not going to Radio City, which means now they have to be accountable and take the kids that was with me. Because remember, I had 17 kids. All the kids was with me. Now y'all going to have to work. Well, I didn't got any kids here. I have. And it's the first day, we all had to be downstairs at 9 o'clock. But we waited a whole hour for the teachers. Why are we waiting for teachers? But when we got to Central Park, a student kind of like needed to slow down. We in Central Park, they had heavy heels.
Yeah.
And people kept walking. And I was like, are we not going to pause for the student? But we could stop and get coffee for the teacher? Oh, we got a problem. So here we go. Racial discrimination, like I told you, as an ACE. Let's be clear. This teacher is passive, very passive aggressive. I caught on to her now, so I know how to play the game. And so, yeah, I didn't go to Radio City for what? But I also miss Harlem. After I put it out there, the kids was like, we want to go to Harlem too. And so the teachers were like, well, it's not on our schedule. How come it ain't? We got a subway pass. We can go anywhere. We went to Chinatown and we went to Italy. How come we can't go to Harlem? And I role reversed and said, but you know, if you go, you'll show the kids all of this wonderful stuff and you'll be known as the hero. Don't think they didn't take them. They took them for 15 minutes. They only took them for 15 minutes so they could say that they went. Yeah. Let's be clear. Got the point across. That was the reason why my daughter wanted me to go. I wouldn't have never. The 4 years that she's been in this theater department, she's gotten all the awards. I'll tell you this. They are competing. They're a good competitive theater team. She's a theater tech, so she does the props, the building, all of that. Yeah. They had the week of prom competition. So I asked that same teacher, the passive aggressive teacher, I said, so what's up with prom? Because we do things different in the Black community. I mean, she can bring her dress and she can, get ready for prom here. She got to compete it too. And I was like, okay. I went to the kids. I let the kids know what was up. I said, y'all want to go to prom? They was like, yeah, but we can't because they scared and terrified of the teachers. We can't because we got to compete. I said, no, y'all don't. Y'all competing for the school. You're not competing for yourself. And don't you think Kamari still got her award? She did get first in everything. So yeah, because she did the theater stuff. But the actors and actresses, they flopped.
Wow.
They needed to. Because it ain't no way on Saturday morning when you're getting ready for prom, you got to be sitting up here worried about a stage play.
Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
Welcome to Pieces, y'all. Let's be clear. Did I do anything wrong? Not at all. I brought awareness to something that they needed. And guess what? I got pictures of all those kids that went to prom.
Right. Well, and not only that, you brought the awareness to the kids and you had the kids to stop and think, okay, it's not for me, it's for the school. It might be repercussions, but it won't be as bad because it's not for me. The prom is something that I want to be able to do. I want to be able to participate in. So I might get a little ding, but I'm okay with that. So you just brought the awareness to it. And your daughter, she knew all along of everything that was going on. That's why she really wanted to make sure that you came onto that trip. She didn't really know how to be able to kind of tell you because she knows that you probably would have went left field with it So she's like, well, I'm going to let her talk to the teacher and let her be able to get the observation from it. But this right here is good. This
and
is
I
so
will
good.
say that prom with those kids is the positive experience that they will never, ever forget for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
They got a chance to go to prom. The previous theater kids didn't get that chance, but these kids got the chance to go dress up, get to prom. I got her dress, Sharia, it looked good, but I got her dress Saturday morning. She went to prom Saturday night.
Wow.
People don't know this. Y'all see the pictures, but y'all don't know we got our dress Saturday morning because she wasn't going to prom. No way on earth my kid wasn't going to prom, but the teacher put that fear in all the kids in the department, and they weren't going to prom.
Tori, this has been an amazing eye-opener or revelation to opening up so many doors for people to be able to walk in life with freedom. To have we talk about a lot of this, and this podcast was based on this, to build the confidence. And that's a lot of reason why we kind of miss our destinies is because of our shortcomings in confidence. This conference is going to be powerful. This is your first year.
Thank you.
We're really excited for you. I'm praying for you because this is going to be a gate opener. You're going to let a whole lot of people free. And what's going to happen is a lot of people are going to start talking more about this ACEs and being able to understand. I know I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to an ACEs situation that you have. And that individual going to say, well, ACEs, what's ACEs? I don't play cards. No, bro. It's not a card thing. It's the word is adverse childhood experience. That's what you're acting out right now. And I can see that. And it's going to lead to conversations that help people to open up and to be more transparent and get free.
Yep.
And I think your whole thing, the whole reason why God has you in this place is to give people that confidence to share their story.
Yep.
I got this thing called brand cocky. And brand cocky is, it's not about I'm the best. It's not about that I'm arrogant. It's that I am courageous enough to stand in my own truth.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to let you tell my story. I'll tell it.
And that's the reason why I actually started with the book first, so people can understand, because I can't share any of this if you don't know about ACEs. If it's new to you, you're not going to understand.
Yeah.
But now I can tell my story. I can tell my story to Sharia because she was there. She knows what's going on. But again, because we lived through this. It wasn't a term. ACEs didn't exist when we grew up.
Yeah.
Let me make the story relatable. So it's my ministry. It has been. My pastor just actually talked about ACEs at his at church yesterday. I'm a member of Concord Baptist Church here. Pastor Brian Carter, love him, but he has helped me go through this journey. I know that I'm having outside of here. So let's be clear, every day, 3 times, 7 times, 20 times. I'm telling you, it works.
Okay, yeah. So really quickly, I don't know why my computer's about to go dead, but I don't want to be knocked out of this. So we need to let's wrap this up really quickly, because I don't want to be like, well, what happened to Sharia? And it's sitting in charge, but why it's not charging, I don't know.
I will come back. I will come to Kansas City. We could have Chris, you can host. Sharia, you can have a conference, whatever it is. I'm willing to lead and help you all understand ACEs so you can spread that awareness to other people. Absolutely.
Yes.
Awesome stuff. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate y'all tuning in, and hopefully you've gotten a little closer to what ACEs is. Please go to the website. The website is BeVictorious.com, and you spell that BeVictorious, and you can get some amazing content and information and help you to grow from beyond where you are. And we're having an ACEs right now because Sharia's computer is about to die, and it's adversely. I'm having a bad.
Hey, I'm like, I don't want to be knocked out. Be like, well, what happened?
Right. You're right.
Let's just wrap it up so I can still be a part of it. See,
you ready?
Trying to intervene.
We ready to go. We gotta go.
Bloop, 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 bloop. I love you, girl.
I love you too.